Why are you all so certain, Matt, in a moment, just want to get a thought first, and you can show us just how bad their attack is. But why are you also certain in a World Cup, if they are fit, if it's humid and there's a greasy ball and there's handling errors, and why are you all just saying, oh, well, that style of rugby is almost of a bygone era, that's not going to get the job done in this World Cup? I think you're writing them off a bit early, no?
It's not enough. I think that has to be the base, but you have to build on that. Like France play a little bit like that, South Africa play a little bit like that, albeit a bit better.
They don't.
But they've got something else. Yeah. They add to it. But that's the base for what they build their game in, that set piece, kicking game and defence. And then France, South Africa, all these other teams can add to that. England can add to that. So that's all they can do. But that type of a game can get you quite far.
I don't think they're fit. So I'm not buying into this, that they're fit at a World Cup. I don't think they're fit. Okay. And I don't think they have the ability to score numerous tries in a big game. Well,
you can show us that, Matt. So, I mean, the attack has been probably the most maligned attack in world rugby for the last 18 months.
Well, if we set the scene against Ireland, everyone was criticising poor old George Ford for kicking. And I kept saying, well, he had no other option because there was nothing around him.
Yeah.
It wasn't George Ford's fault. You know, Wigglesworth is the attack coach and kicking strategy coach. You know, he must feel guilty picking up his paycheck, I can tell you, because the attack is just not, there is no framework there for it. That is a coach's problem. And that the coaches put structure around the players, put a framework around the players, like Ireland do. We showed that framework. And they just don't have any framework.
How can that be?
I've got no idea.
It's forgivable.
Come on, fellas, how can that be? They must have a framework.
They honestly don't have much of a framework. Now, they've lost an awful lot in Owen Farrell not being there. But for me, the biggest problem here is that Leicester won an English Premiership playing exactly this type of brand of rugby. And I think Borthwick and co have been lured into a false sense of security that if we play this brand of rugby, like we did with Leicester, we can be successful. And it doesn't cut it at international rugby.
Are you sure it doesn't cut it? Because like South Africa play a fairly reductive style, don't they? I know they put down the handbrake when they're up, but I mean...
They can score a try like that.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. South Africa, Andy just showed Chisholm Colby taking the crossfield kick. And you think of the World Cup, last World Cup. South Africa will strangle you, bang, 3 flashes of absolute brilliance, and the game's over.
Yeah.
And that's what's frustrating about South Africa. They could play like Ireland and France, but they choose not to. These guys do not have that in them.
Because I heard Richard Wigglesworth interviewed the England attack coach, and he was saying, we're close, there's just a few connections that we need to map out.
But they're not even passing the ball. They're kicking everything.
Well, he just needs a few connections in there.
They got 46 possessions and they kicked 43. They kicked 96% of possessions away. Now, they're a man down, but still 96%.
No, I hear you. Is there a chance they could be close? Are they close to clicking?
You're very pro-England.
Well, you're all very anti-England, and I think there's a fair chance they're in a semi-final and you're going to be sitting in this studio going, oh, well, actually, this kind of rugby might work, you know.
They absolutely
sweating, the three of you.
So do Wales and Fiji have a great shot at the semi-final.
Yeah.
They've great shot. Yeah. Because that's the draw. That's the draw.
But also the style of rugby. You know,
South African style of rugby.
Okay, I'm going to throw you a small bone here.
Thank you.
When you get to semi-final rugby and things tense up and everyone gets a little bit more nervous and there's more kicking, this style of rugby...
It's a leveller.
It's a leveller.
Okay.
But
Agreed.
Okay.
No, look, I take your point. You don't have high hopes for them.